Hey, this is Stu Schaefer, and I'm about to explain or share the 5 foods that you should be eating every day, especially if you're a woman and you're trying to lose weight. And if you're in menopause or perimenopause or postmenopause, you absolutely need to be eating these foods every single day. These are foods I eat every single day as well, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm obsessed with anti-aging. I'm obsessed with staying lean, building quality muscle, looking amazing, and optimizing your health at the same time. So I've spent the last 25 years working with women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, but also on myself because I want to look good in, as long as I can. So all of these foods have really great effects on the body. They help with weight loss, specifically fat loss. They help preserve your muscle. They help with your hair, skin, and nails. They help reduce inflammation. They help your immune system. They'll help lower your cholesterol and blood pressure, regulate your blood sugar. Pretty much anything and everything you would want to do health-wise, these 5 foods are going to deliver. And so you should be integrating them into your food plan or your nutrition every single day, okay? So let's just dive right in. We'll go through each one. They're simple, they're easy, and they're not complicated. You don't have to go into some back alley somewhere down Chinatown to find these things. It's not some weird herb or anything. These are legit anywhere you can get them. Now, some people, if you can't get organic or whatever, look, do your best. Some people can, some people can't. Don't worry about that. Do the best you can do, period. Okay, let's look at the first thing you should be having every day. That is fish oil. You want fish oil every day. Now, when you look at fish oil, if you're not a fish eater, you need to be supplementing with fish oil. But fish oil has 2 fatty acids. One is called EPA and the other is called DHA. Now, you want between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams per day. 1 to 2,000 milligrams per day. Now, here's what's really deceiving, okay? And everything I mentioned, if you want to look at those supplements I recommend, you can go to our resources page. There's a link in the description. You can find that. But a lot of times when you buy a fish oil supplement, on the bottle it will say 1,000 milligrams, which is 1 gram. And you think, oh, that's great, it's 1,000 milligrams. But it's not. If you turn it over and you study the label a little bit, you might find that in that case, there might only be 250 milligrams of EPA and 350 milligrams of DHA. So that's only 600 milligrams. So they're lying on the label. It's what they're doing is they're putting 1,000 milligrams of oil into the capsule, but it's not all fish oil. So you need to make sure you're getting 1 to 2,000 milligrams of the EPA and DHA per day. This is an amazing omega-3 fatty acid. It will reduce inflammation, make you more insulin sensitive. It'll help with your hair, skin, nails, your eyes, your moisture in your eyes. It's wonderful. You absolutely need to be having this every day. So if you can get fish, fantastic. Probably the 2 most common sources are going to be salmon and sardines. Okay, some people, I didn't say anchovies, because whenever I say sardines, people freak out. A lot of people don't like sardines, and I get it. They're rather strong, but they're easy, so some people love them. Salmon or sardines are the easiest way to get these. And if you're having that a few days a week, 3-4 times a week, you're going to be doing really well with getting these. If you don't like fish, though, you're going to want to supplement with a fish oil supplement. Okay, so that's number 1. Get fish oil almost every day in some way, shape, or form. Okay, let's look at the second one. You want olive oil as well. Extra virgin olive oil. Now, here's a couple, I'm going to go over a couple tricks about what to do, but let me explain what it is first. So olive oil is kind of the monounsaturated fat. It's not necessarily an omega-3 per se, but it has very good anti-inflammatory properties. It's also very good for your hair, skin, and nails. Helps your metabolism. By the way, both of these fatty acids, the fish oil and the olive oil, can help with brown fat. Brown fat is what regulates your body temperature, and it's metabolically active. So it's really good. So extra virgin olive oil is fantastic. Now, I do want to caution you, though, when it comes to oils like fish oil or extra virgin olive oil, a little bit goes a long way. And one of the big problems that I see with many of my clients and other people who struggle to lose weight is they use the oil too liberally. You're looking at maybe only needing a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. Well, a lot of people will do 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, okay? That's way too much. You don't need that much. And that can really be overkill. And then all of a sudden, you negate the benefits. So that you want to be careful of as well. But extra virgin olive oil. Now, here's a couple tricks. You really never want to get a clear bottle. If you can avoid it, you don't even really want to get the typical bottles you would see in your supermarket. Now, again, some people, that's their only option. Other people can, find it cold pressed. So if you can, you want to get it in a glass bottle that's really dark. The dark green or brown ones. It's not letting a lot of light in, and that's been cold pressed. That would be ideal. Fresh cold pressed in a glass bottle that's dark so that the light hasn't gotten it. You really don't want to get olive oil that's in a clear plastic container because it's sitting on the shelves and all the light is essentially making the oil rancid. So you have to be cautious. Oils are very different in quality depending on which ones you get. And obviously, you want to get top quality. That's going to give you the best health benefits and also help with your weight loss too, because it's going to get your body optimized, which would include your gut health and your metabolism and everything else. Okay, let's look at the third food you should be eating every single day, and that is some type of fruit. A lot of people are debating about fruit. Fruit is fine, okay? The fructose is where people are debating, and even fruit that has fructose in it is fine, okay? A little bit of fructose won't hurt you. In fact, it's really good for you. It can really help the liver convert certain thyroid hormones, which will speed up your metabolism and actually improve your health. The problem is things like high fructose corn syrup, that's terrible, but that's not even the same thing. It's man-made. It's awful for you. If you were to only eat fruit and you ate way too much, just like anything else, you could certainly go overboard with that. But a little bit is good. Now, not all fruit is created equal. I would not recommend fruits like bananas, melon, pineapple, or the other tropical fruits, mainly because they're so high in sugar. I also don't recommend dehydrated fruit, things like raisins, prunes, dried dates, things like dried apricots, these types of things. The reason is because when you dehydrate the fruit, it really concentrates the sugar quality. Okay, it hyper fermenting it. So as a fruit ripens, the sugar content goes up. Well, when you dehydrate it, you maximize the sugar content and it shrinks it. So a little bit of fruit is like super potent, like a quarter cup of raisins, which is nothing. You could eat that and not even know you ate something. Will bring tons and tons of sugar into it, and you'd spike your sugars and you'd be way overkill. So don't eat raisins. Raisins are not a good weight loss food. They're a good weight gain food, okay? Because a little bit are just packed with carbs and sugar. So you got to be careful of that. Berries are probably the safest place to start. And I'm not talking about strawberries. They're a little bit different. I'm talking about berries like blueberries, boysenberries, blackberries, raspberries, things like that. Those are probably the easiest, the safest. One fruit also that I would be careful of, believe it or not, are kiwis. A lot of people say how magical kiwis are and all this stuff. In my experience, women tend to have a lot of reactions to certain foods. And kiwis happens to be one of those where it can cause inflammation, weight gain, migraine, headaches, things like that. So if you're really wanting to play it safe, I would stick with the berries. Things like apples can be okay, pears, peaches, etc. But sometimes if you have a gut issue or you're trying to do something with lower FODMAP, those can be an issue as well. But berries are generally pretty darn safe. They've got some great fiber. They taste good. You can get them fresh or frozen. So they're very versatile, okay? And I eat those every day as well. All right, let's look at the fourth food you should have. And this is some type of a meat, fish, or poultry to get a nice, complete, high-quality protein. Now, when I say high quality, not all meats, fishes, and proteins are created equal either. I'm not talking about bacon and ribs and things like that. I'm talking about nice, high quality, clean, lean proteins. Now look, if you're plant-based, you can still get good proteins, but your options are going to be significantly different, obviously. But some people can do soy, some people can't do soy, and so sometimes when you're plant-based, you have to get a little bit more creative, and that's fine. I'm not going to go into that on this lesson, but just know there's also great options if you're plant-based. You just have to be a little bit more precise. But for most people who are not plant-based, meat, fish, or poultry is going to be so beneficial. They have a complete amino acid profile. They've got great vitamins and minerals and other micronutrients in them. And those really go a long way for longevity, for muscle protein synthesis or muscle preservation, metabolism, appetite, blood sugar control. They're absolutely wonderful. And more these days, people are agreeing that getting enough protein is vital for your overall health. We've gone through a lot of different phases over the decades. One thing that has kind of stood the test of time is really getting high quality protein. Now, it's not the end all be all, but it is really important, so you have to remember that. So you do want meat, fish, or poultry, some type every single day. And fish is great because it also hits those omega-3 fatty acids, the salmon, the sardines, while providing some great complete proteins. So get your protein. How much? Okay. Everyone seems to think that it should be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but this isn't true. Let's say you weighed 300 pounds and you're, 40, 50% body fat. Well, that doesn't mean you should get 300 grams of protein per day. It's more based on your height, your weight, your age, your lean body mass, your activity level, what else you're eating. All of this comes into play. Generally, though, you probably wouldn't want to get less than about 100 grams of protein per day. That's what I've noticed seems to be like kind of the bottom floor of the protein intake. About 100 grams per day would be the least I would recommend. Now, I've had some people that think they should only get 50 grams per day. That's way too low in my opinion, unless you're literally sitting on the couch all day long, not doing anything and not exercising at all. Otherwise, if you're doing any type of activity or you're an active person or you're exercising, you definitely need more. And the older you get, the more you need. Remember, the older you get, the more likely you are to lose muscle. And that extra protein will help preserve that. So protein is key. Meat, fish, or poultry should be in your nutrition every single day. Okay, let's look at the 5th one. Now, this is kind of an interesting piece because it can go 2 ways, okay? It's whole grains or starches. The reason I separate them is because some people don't digest whole grains very well. Now, this could include gluten, but it could also include things like rice or, quinoa or corn or things like that, where these are gluten-free grains, but for some reason, their body, their genetics, whatever's going on, they don't digest grains very well. In that case, you want the starches. Other people, they don't do well with starches. They can't handle it. It cranks their blood sugar up too high, causes a big insulin spike. So they may be better off with whole grains. Whole grains can also create a little bit extra fiber intake, which can help with your bowel movements. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, if none of these were an issue, you would want both, okay? You want a nice variety of carbohydrates so that your body can use the different ones for different purposes. Okay, different foods all serve a specific purpose in your diet. Different foods are going to have different chemical reactions. So you really do want a variety. The problem is a lot of people get stuck on one thing, and that's not good. You want a variety. But if you can't digest grains, you'll need to focus on starches. If starches aren't good, focus on the grains. Ideally, though, you want to do both. Now, if you have all of these types of foods in your diet every single day, everything's going to be taken care of, and it's going to optimize your health. This is literally the key to longevity, anti-aging. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm 80 years old. I'm kidding. But no, you want the longevity. It keeps your hair, your skin, your nails, your eyes, your muscles, everything. Keeps it as good as you can get for as long as possible. And who doesn't want to look their best as they get older? We all do. And we all want to feel good. And we all want to function well. Plus, we want to lose fat. And we want to be able to keep the muscle. So not only do we look good on the outside, but we have good strength. our tendons, our joints, our ligaments are all strong. And that way, as we get older, we have a great lifestyle. Plus, you know, who doesn't want to look good? We all do. So this is really the key. Now, I'm going to splash up 2 videos right now that you absolutely need to go and watch. Click on these videos. You're also going to find some links in the description to some of our free resources along with our resources page if you're interested in some of the supplements that I mentioned. So click these videos, go to watch the videos right now. Click the links in the description, go grab some of our free resources. You're going to love them, and I'll see you over there. All right, take care.